Alright good people, it is that time of the year again, and one of the biggest tech shows is in full swing. As per usual, we are working hard to bring you all the latest news and hands-on experiences from CES 2026 in Las Vegas, but thankfully a few companies already invited us to preview events last year. And I want to kick things off with Asus ROG and walk you through the major laptop highlights they have on offer for 2026. And despite the fact that we will not see new mobile GPUs here in Vegas, they once again show their willingness to innovate what a laptop can be, and that they are listening to us consumers when it comes to improving and tweaking their existing products. So without any further ado, and since I know your timeline is probably swamped with CES content already, let's get into it. Contrary to other Asus announcements, the lists of truly new ROG products, especially on the laptop side, is pretty short. But boy, do they ever make up for it, and if you remember how fond I was about the Zephyrus Duo 16 from 2023 and how much I liked the ZenBook Duo, you can probably understand my excitement when I first laid eyes upon the new Zephyrus Duo for 2026. When I did the review for the consumer version, I was like, now put a dedicated GPU in here and give me a 16-inch version. And well, that's this puppy right here. So what looks like a slightly beefier version of the G16 at first glance transforms into a dual-screen multitasking monstrosity, which as a creator makes my head spin with the possibilities such a package could provide. And in true ROG fashion, they not just put a second screen where you would usually find your keyboard, but they really thought this one through properly, and not only do you have a ton of options how to set this one up, but similar to its consumer counterpart, you get a wireless keyboard that you can either put on the second screen to have a regular laptop setup or use independently of your machine for increased flexibility. To make it all possible, the base unit gets a stand that gives a tremendous amount of options for how you can position the Zephyrus Duo. And since the hinge can flip around, you can even show the person opposite of you what you're working on. Talk about a conversation starter, or maybe a completely new idea for a blind date. Under the hood you get basically G16 internal, so that means up to an RTX 5090 running at up to 130 watts, Intel's latest Panther Lake CPU, up to 64 gigs of speedy memory, and dual NVMe slots behind an easily accessible button plate. The two screens are of course OLEDs, and they might not be able to keep up with the G16 in terms of refresh rate, but with G-Sync, 120Hz, 3K resolution and pen support, you should find plenty to like both for games and creator applications. The overall port situation is also quite decent, and overall the Duo might be pretty special, and this being an ROG laptop with two screens, you can bet it will cost an arm and a leg, but if you are in that very particular niche group of users that can already think about ways to use this one, and I am definitely one of them, this is a mobile multitasking dream come true. And talking about a dream come true, if you followed us for a while now, you know how much I like the Flow Z13, which is ROG's sort of gaming Surface Pro, and in 2023 they made one of the most beautiful devices ever, which was the acronym Special Edition, and fast forward to 2026 and last year's all AMD Strix Halo Z13 gets a visual makeover once again. But this time, no other but Hideo Kojima partners with the ROG folks for a one-of-a-kind tablet hybrid. So under the hood everything stays the same, and if you need a refresher, feel free to check out our initial review or stay tuned for a bit more of a long-term user review coming shortly after CES. But damn, does this one has a lot on offer visually. As a bit of an homage to Death Stranding, one of Hideo Kojima's more recent IPs, the Z13 comes in this super sleek hardshell case, and the chassis itself sports this duotone black and goldish finish with real carbon fiber accents that just looks simply gorgeous. The detachable keyboard gets the extra treatment as well, and to make sure you got the complete set ready, ROG also offers a special version of the Harp Ace and their Delta 2 headset for the full setup. Apparently this year's version of the Z13 is limited, so if you want one, you might want to be fast, because I'm pretty sure these will sell like hotcakes, despite a probably pretty steep price tag. Alright, that would be the new stuff, so how about we talk about the refreshes, which for now means the Zephyrus G14 and G16. And how about we start with the bigger brother, since there isn't that much to talk about, even though the updates are quite welcome and should make one of the best thin and light gamers an even better machine. Under the hood, we get of course the obligatory Panther Lake CPU upgrade, but ROG was also able to tweak the cooling system to allow for up to 160 watts for up to an RTX 5090 in manual mode. What this means for everyday scenarios remains to be seen, but it seems like Asus really wants to close the performance gap to its arch enemy, the Razer Blade 16 here. In addition to the slightly redesigned slash lighting on the lid, we finally get a new hinge, and I really hope that the almost characteristic wobble of the G16s is finally a thing of the past. On the display side, we also get new OLEDs with increased brightness, which is great to see, and overall these are not massive changes, but they definitely improve on an overall already great design, so I'm very excited to get my hands on this one. The smaller G14 gets the same brightness bump but keeps the rest of the display specs from the 2025 model. And similar to the bigger brother, we get the same careful chassis improvements, and for my fellow creators out there, the G14 also finally gets a full-size SD card reader, hopefully sparking a trend amongst other manufacturers as well. Under the hood, the new G14 goes Intel, which is a first for the 14-inch model, so let's see how that translates to performance for what has historically been the benchmark when it comes to portable gaming performance. If you want to stick to AMD, Asus does what Asus does and combines the 2025 chassis with up to an RTX 5060 and AMD's refreshed Gorgon Point CPUs. Alright folks, that should already be it for today. As per usual, you can find more in-depth information in our news coverage on the website, and we will do our very best to get review samples as soon as possible, and also if there's something you want us to prioritize, let us know below, since in the end we are doing all of this for you, so knowing what you guys are most interested in definitely helps with planning our content. Make sure to leave your sub to stay up to date with our CES 2026 coverage and everything else that happens here in Vegas. And if you felt informed and entertained, leave your like as well, since it helps us more than you can ever imagine. Thanks a ton for watching, good people. My name is Alex, you have been absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Take care.